Welcome to the Dansports.tips Daily Baseball Show for today, Good Friday, the 14th of April. I'll be taking a look at the sports bets I like in the Major League Baseball today and looking at players that can be used in your daily fantasy lineups on DraftKings as well. I'll dive straight in on the sports betting. Obviously, we didn't have a good day yesterday. We only did the treble because there wasn't that much I liked. Couple of games I like a lot today. The plays we're going to make is Boston Red Sox on the run line, -1.5 to beat the Tampa Bay Rays at 2.55 with Bet365. The Atlanta Braves opening their new stadium to beat the San Diego Padres at 1.66 on Bet365. And the San Francisco Giants -1.5 to beat the Colorado Rockies, also at 2.55 with Bet365. 1 point treble pays 10.83. We'll also go with Boston -3.5 to beat Tampa Bay at 4.30, with the Los Angeles Angels and Kansas City Royals to go over 9 runs at 1.90 with Bet365. 1 point double there pays 8.20. And we'll have a 2 point signal on the Boston Red Sox -5.5 to beat the Tampa Bay Rays at 8.00 with Bet365. Chris Archer for Tampa Bay matches up against Rick Porcello, who won the Cy Young Award in the American League last year. Archer has started the season excellently, but he cannot beat the Boston Red Sox. In 13 starts against Boston over the past 3 seasons, he has gone 0-9 with a 5.40 ERA. At Fenway Park, where the game will take place today, the ERA spikes to 7.65 in 5 starts in that time frame. Porcello mowed down the Rays with a 3 ERA and a 5-0 record in 6 starts against them last year. We like Boston a lot today. Atlanta can send Julio Teheran to the mound to open that new stadium in what I imagine is going to be something like a celebratory party atmosphere. Teheran has been lights out so far this year, faces Jhoulys Chacín, who's never really settled in at the big league level. He's bounced around numerous teams at the back end of rotations, generally lacking consistency, as has been shown across his 2 starts this season already. And Kansas City, they've been struggling to score runs this year. The weather, however, does look pretty good to help the hitters there today. We've got Danny Duffy on the mound for Kansas City. His fastball velocity has dipped a little bit this year through the 2 starts he's made. That makes him a lot more hittable. He'll be facing off against JC Ramirez. He's a reliever making his first start. Standard rule of thumb is a reliever because he's a failed starter. 9 runs is a touch higher than I expected to see, to be honest, but I am going to play it with all those factors considered in. Looking at the daily fantasy today, it's a big day for starting pitching. The starting pitchers I like are Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers for 13,500, Johnny Cueto of the Giants for 11,600, Noah Syndergaard of the Mets for 11,400, Steven Strasburg of Washington 10,800, Julio Teheran of Atlanta for 8,500, and Aaron Sanchez of the Toronto Blue Jays for 8,200. There is a lot of really good pitching and also pricey pitching available today. The top 4 of Kershaw, Cueto, Thor and Strasburg speak for themselves. They all strike hitters out. They don't allow a lot of runs. Cueto is potentially my favourite among them. He's got a very strong record against the Colorado Rockies. Lower down in the sort of middle ground of pitching today, I do think Teheran opening a new stadium in Atlanta offered 2 very good starts this year against a fairly anemic Padres lineup, does offer some value, as does Aaron Sanchez. He went 5-0 with a 3 RA against the Orioles last year in 6 starts. Stacks today, I'm going to look to stack some Kansas City Royals. Outfielder Lorenzo Cain for 4,100. First baseman Eric Hosmer for $4,000. Third baseman Mike Moustakas for 3,200. Brandon Moss, who can be used at first or in the outfield, for 3,600. And Salvador Perez for 3,400. The Boston Red Sox, I'll look to take Mookie Betts for 5,000 in the outfield. Andrew Benintendi also in the outfield for 3,800. Second baseman Dustin Pedroia for 4,000. Mitch Moreland at first for 3,200. And Hanley Ramirez, who can be used at first or in the outfield, for 4,500. And finally, some Seattle Mariners. Outfielder Nelson Cruz for 4,400. Mitch Haniger also in the outfield for 3,600. Taylor Motta can be used at third or short for 3,300. And first baseman Danny Valencia for 3,400. I want to stack some Royals as they get to effectively face a bullpen game today. They haven't been scoring, which will change at some point. The weather looks decent for the hitters at Kaufman today. All 5 hitters have got power potential, and certainly Perez and Moustakas have started the season really quite well for the long ball as well. Boston have owned Chris Archer in recent years. He hasn't beaten them in any of his 13 starts across 3 seasons. Carries an ERA north of 7 in Fenway Park, so we'll get as many Red Sox in my lineup as possible. And Seattle faced Martin Perez. My thoughts about his failings as a pitcher obligate me to look for some Mariners bats against him. All 4 again have power potential and have the platoon against Perez. Even if Safeco Park isn't the best hitter's yard, it's okay for right-handed power. a hit coming in around league average for the last 3 seasons. My foundation players today, at first base I'll take Freddie Freeman of the Atlanta Braves for 4,400. Second base Jose Altuve of Houston for 4,900. Daniel Murphy at third, who also qualifies at second, for 4,600. Shortstop Francisco Lindor of Cleveland for 4,700. And Mike Trout in the outfield for 5,200 of the Los Angeles Angels. Freeman has been included with the platoon advantage in the new stadium today as one of the cornerstones of the franchise, just on the back of a hunch that Atlanta will have a good day and he will probably lead the charge offensively. Altuve offers all-round production. Daniel Murphy has continued in the same vein as last year's excellent season. Switch hitter Francisco Lindor has also begun the year red hot for the Tribe, and Trout has excellent hitting conditions and a platoon with Danny Duffy, who looks ripe for a season of regression to me. Value players today, catcher Matt Wieters of the Washington Nationals for $3,000. First baseman Albert Pujols of the Los Angeles Angels for $4,000. Second baseman Brad Miller of Tampa Bay for $3,900. Matt Davidson at third of the Chicago White Sox for $3,100, and shortstop Tim Anderson also of the White Sox for $3,800, and in the outfield I'll take Adam Eaton of the Washington Nationals for $3,900. I'll start with Davidson and Anderson purely because the weather forecast isn't great in Chicago today. That game is going to be in danger of a rain out, so obviously if you do use them you will need to keep an eye on them, but both Davidson and Anderson have been hitting really well to this point through the season. That same thing can be said for Matt Wieters in Washington. He started strong with his new club this year. Pujols has had a lot of success in Kansas City. Obviously he played in state at St. Louis for a long time as well throughout his career. Even as old father time catches up with him, I'm expecting him to do okay today in decent conditions for the Angels. Brad Miller is built for Fenway Park with left-handed power. He's had success against Rick Porcello in his career as well with 3 home runs, and Adam Eaton looks remarkably cheap for a hitter at the top of a very potent Nationals lineup who offers all-round production on the base paths as well. That's what I've got for you today. Best of luck if you join me with the sports bets. We need to start turning that around as quickly as we can. And best of luck with your plays you're making on DraftKings today as well. Do like the video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Twitter at Dansports.tips. Let me know what you think of today's baseball action, either from the sports betting perspective or who you'll be using in your lineups. Anyone you think I've missed out that I should be looking at in the comment section below. I will be here regularly throughout the baseball season. Happy Easter. See you soon. Play ball.